Good afternoon, everyone from the nation's capital, the DMV. It is me, your boy Shad Talks Graps, and we are back for another installment of the Wrestling Republic daily broadcast. Man, it's Friday. You ain't got no job, and you ain't got ish to do but watch us. And we got ourselves a very fun episode, man. It's been a newsworthy week of professional wrestling, and I'm excited for the amount of topics we have today. But more importantly, I am excited for the Avengers that I assembled for today's show because I brought two people to the panel that are on weekly shows I work with all the time, but they're not on the same weekly shows. That's a riddle for you. First and foremost, the queen of Wrestling Republic, the woman who keeps Shad grounded on spotlight because sometimes I wild out. Let's give it up for Megan. How are you doing today?
Hey, Shad. I'm doing good. Happy Smackdown Day. I've been gone for a while. I didn't do a show last week outside of Sunday Night Spotlight, so feels good to be back talking about what's going on in the wrestling world, and I'm excited.
Yes, and I'm excited to have you, man. It's always cool to do
Yes,
extra shows with Megan. Last Sunday
absolutely.
we did a killer episode of Sunday Spotlight. If you haven't watched it, we got to interview former MLW champion Alex Kane, who I can say is
Yes.
a friend of the show now because we will be having him back pretty soon. Who knows? You might have to wait and see. Last but not least, it is not a Tuesday afternoon. This is my arch nemesis. If I get to be Ash in the situation, this is Gary in the situation. My dog Jordy in the bank. How are you, brother?
I'm great, man. It's great to be here on a Friday. Yeah, like you said, I've done a few shows with Megan. Me and Megan get along
Yes.
really well. It's great to have Megan here to kind of be the middle ground between me and you because I feel like she'll keep things in order a lot better than Chaos does. Because we've seen it happen on a Tuesday. Let's be honest. Like you two bully me every now and again, so I feel like Megan won't partake in that.
All right. Well, let's get back to the show because I don't like when lies are struck. Oh, my fault, bro. Did I mess something up? What happened to your mic?
No,
Oh, my
mate.
fault. I'm muted you. My bad.
It just happens every now and again. I don't know. I don't know why. It's only when I'm on a show with you though. But who knows? Who
Nice.
knows? We've got some great topics to talk about. So let's get
In
into it.
in
Stop
in
bullying me.
in the words of Kanye West, no one man should have all that power. But let's start with our show because we got the topic that is on the subject matter of what is happening on Friday night SmackDown. If y'all know what I'm talking about, it's literally what the title of this video is. Should Solo Sikoa defeat maybe the former tribal chief? Maybe he's still the tribal chief to people. I don't know. It really is depending how you depict it. But the
Tribal
question,
Chief. Only
oh,
one.
she
There's
she
only
got she
one.
got one. We
There's
talking
only
about the
one.
OTC versus the
Yes.
CTC, current tribal chief, as some people might call it. But the question is out there in regards: should Roman put over Solo? Should Solo go into this feud and win it overall? And I'm gonna be real with y'all. I think Roman Reigns should put Solo Sikoa over initially in this feud. And I say initially as the key word. This needs to be a wrench thrown in this storyline that we have. A wrench thrown into this inning. You can't bat, a home run every single inning, and adversity makes things more important. Why not have Roman have the numbers against him and lose initially to Solo Sikoa, knock him off a peg for a wee bit, and try to build himself back up and eventually get to that opportunity to beat him? I feel like it could be beneficial for Solo, and I think it would be a different dynamic to it. I feel like you guys don't agree with me on that though. So I'm gonna open the panel and I'm gonna kick it off to you first, Megan. What are your thoughts? Do you think that Solo should defeat Roman?
You know what? The way that you have broke it down, naturally I would have said no. But the way you broke it down, it makes sense. It really do. Um, because I feel like with the personality not meshing between Roman and Cody, there is going to be a power play between that match. Whereas when it's with Solo and his team partner, tag team partner, which is probably be Jacob Fatu, right? Um, there's, I think at this point, Jacob kind of knows his place. He knows Solo is the leader. He knows he's his tribal chief, so he knows to follow suit. Whereas with Cody and Roman, there is going to be an alpha male battle between the two. One being the tribal chief, champion for 3+ years, head of the table, and then you have the current undisputed champion, the face of WWE, as I like to call him. Um, and they both want to be in that leader position. So um, I can see with that being in play, Solo winning the match. I can absolutely see it for sure.
And I'm glad that you can see my vision in a sense because it's one that's tricky. And the reason I'm kind of leaning towards that, if beat Solo dead in the water out the gate, where does he recover from that situation, right? Like I feel like it's a legitimate factor is you still need to maintain people. If Roman is a baby face, and Roman in my minds, since he's not the champion and he did take that loss, he's a bit Teflon at a moment. Like he's just that over, and the fans love him so much and they want to root for him. I think he could handle a bit of adversity. I don't think maybe Solo needs to win the initial feud, but winning a match, I think that would be a benchmark moment for him, like you were saying as well. We do have a comment in here. Number one Superfly saying, not entirely sure if Solo should beat Roman if it was 1-on-1, but definitely pin Roman in a tag match. However, I can definitely see Jacob Fatu being the guy to defeat Roman Reigns. Ooh, y'all know I am literally the
Him.
like I am Jacob Fatu, right? That is literally me. I'm about to fly over to wherever SmackDown is right after we do the podcast. But now, all jokes aside, I think Jacob Fatu should beat Cody Rhodes. I don't even think it matters about Roman Reigns. I think he should be the next champion. I think that's his calling. I think he is a guy you can be built up enough to be the world champion. But I do want to know what you think, maybe in regards to that too. But let's start with the Solo and Roman, Jordy. What do you think? Do you think Solo should get a win over him?
If we're talking about this match in particular at Bad Blood and this tag match, I would say I don't think it's the end of the world if the tag team wins. In terms of Roman putting Solo over, I think that should happen, and almost it's like Solo's career should almost build to that moment, and it should happen over a long period of time. I just don't think it should happen just yet. I don't have a problem with them losing the tag match because you can play on the fact that Cody and Roman could implode. It could be an accident. It could be something where, I don't know, Cody tries to hit a Cody cutter and Roman gets pushed into it. Do you know what I mean? And then Solo can still actually get the pin and look like the dominant one. I just think that Solo beating Roman, even when they go head to head for the first time 1-on-1, I don't think that Solo should win that. I think he should lose the first one and then have a big build back up to beat Roman. And it should be very much a career-making point when he overcomes that hurdle, because Solo will be here for longer than Roman is, whether we like it or not, because that's age and that the time happens and time moves on. And I genuinely have a lot of belief in Solo Sikoa. I think Jacob Fatu is kind of outshining him right now in a sense, but I think WWE realised that and have kind of played that into the story. But Jacob's got the years on Solo. It's just the way I see it is it's another person who's done a very different route to what Roman's done, who's been like very much WWE in the face of WWE from the moment he walked through the door, and he's had that push. Jacob's got a whole bag of different experience, and it's all Solo's the youngest one in amongst all this that can just be the sponge and just take it all, learn from Jacob. He's learned a lot from Roman, I'm sure. So I do believe that Solo Sikoa has got a lot of greatness in him and a lot of great things to come. I actually like the way that he's played this new role. He doesn't look like the dominant tribal chief Roman did, but I feel like people have kind of forgotten that when Roman was the tribal chief, it was Solo that was playing that role of Jacob, that was taking everyone out, that was spiking everyone. And Roman was just not doing much until the title fights came. And Solo's very much replicating that, because you know that's what you would do if you've learned from someone. So I kind of like it, but I think they should lose the tag match, yeah. But I just don't think that if they come head to head for that first time, I think Roman needs to beat him, and it should start a redemption arc for Solo that can go on for years, because this Bloodline saga we've seen now has got years in it. If they want it to, they can just branch it out and go however way they want. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
You brought a great point, actually, because the criticism towards Solo is kind of funny because, like you said, he's mimicking a lot of how Roman was handled as a character, right?
Mhm.
He's a heel, right? As dominant, as big as he is or whatnot, he's a heel. He wins in a manner in heel tactics. He's a tribal chief. He does stuff accordingly to have his little man taking care of it, right? The Usos, Sammy, whatever it may be, and he's doing the same thing with God, with Jacob Fatu. So it's interesting to see how there's a lot more criticism towards Solo compared to that there was with Roman. Maybe it is a character factor.
That's the thing as well. I think people are forgetting how much Roman did get criticized for it. Like the comments were crazy. There was people like, "Oh, you can never win on your own. You always have to get the bloodline." So it's like, yeah, Solo will go and do exactly that. He'll go and be like, "Well, yeah, actually, that worked for 3+ years. Why would I try and break something that's not broken? Why would I try and fix something that's not broken? I just get a new bunch in and replicate it." Like,
and those people that complain about that are always watching on Friday night. They're always watching on the PLEs, right? And then that's the truth of it, right? And like you said, this storyline, you can juice it for years. The fact that we add different intervals, and it's a cheat code. I was talking about it last week, funny enough, in a Twitter space. And I was like, WWE have, created the ultimate cheat code amongst cheat codes. They are finding ways to implement guys who are in the wrestling industry for a while. Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, God have been wrestlers for a minute. Tongaloa used to be in the WWE, funny enough, right? As a whole different of a character. Jacob Fatu has been in the wrestling industry for a while, but you literally just throw him in this storyline and fans are enamored and they're super glued into it. And they have, like, WWE fans don't really know who they are, right? But it's such an easy way to get them in and get fans over. And credit to them, they just need that little hyper jump start, and they're running the track fast. The God is running the track well. They're the tag team champions. Jacob Fatu is a loved by everybody on the main roster as of now. And it's brilliance. It's brilliance in my mind. I don't care if it's a cheat code. You spam that cheat code as much as you can. You use all the cheat codes in GTA to get all the flying cars and ARs and all of that. They just fall to you. They're doing that, and I think it's smart, man.
And
so
they're doing it
smart.
well as well. That's the thing. It's not something we've never seen before. When you think back to way back and think like NWO, at that point you could just bring somebody in, put them in the NWO, and everyone would be like, "Oh, amazing!" But it's consistent booking and making sure that the story always makes sense. And like even things like what we saw last week, that scene between Roman and Cody, this that is cinema, like that is TV
Yeah.
show, that is cinema production quality.
It's
No wrestling, just a scene of dialogue between two people who really held their own in an acting sense. And I was just like, this is something that I don't know. I've not. Maybe you'd see it as a WrestleMania promo, but not just randomly
mhm.
thrown on a Friday Night SmackDown. I was like, this is brilliant. Like, give me more of this.
Yeah, I love it. I like
Mhm.
creativity is what makes it the best. You
Mhm.
gonna say, Megan?
Oh no, I'm just listening to y'all two dialogue.
Mhm.
But I do agree. I absolutely do agree. We have another bloodline member that is going to be on NXT in
Mm.
the upcoming weeks that they had kind of revealed. Um, so yeah, I'm sure they will find a way to add him to the story, possibly,
the
maybe.
the rich get richer is how I like to say it. But man, I'm excited for it. And yeah, like we said, we're gonna go over SmackDown a little bit later, but we won't touch too much on this
Yeah.
topic because we kind of went over it. We're gonna see Solo tonight, so it should be interesting. On to the next topic, and this is getting away from WWE for a second because I'm excited about this. We talked about it very briefly yesterday on the AW review because it was a comment, but I want to talk about it with Megan because you and I have had this conversation a couple weeks ago off
Yes.
air before we could talk about it because the rumblings and the idea of MVP coming to AEW was it was pretty much known. We just got to wait for it to happen. MVP debuted this past Wednesday at Grand Slam in New York City, your hometown,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
he gave a card and he said the word business. I want to do business with Swerve. Is
Yes.
MVP coming to AEW and is he reuniting some iteration of the Hurt Business? I am super intrigued because I think so. But I want to ask you, Megan, do you think he is? And if so, who do you think is joining? Is it going to be a lot of the, because two of the guys are in the free agent market, but there's also a lot of great
Yes.
talent on AEW too. Break it down for me.
Yes. Well, for those that know the original Hurt Business, it was MVP, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and Cedric Alexander. And like you mentioned, there's only one that is currently still in the WWE, and that's Cedric, and he's currently on NXT. So with free agents like Bobby Lashley and Sheldon Benjamin, who had just debuted at Defy Wrestling promotion about a week or two ago, um, there's always a possibility that they could pop up in AEW. And I feel like with MVP, he's going to look out for his boys. So if he is there, in my opinion, the other two is sure to follow. But definitely during that promotion, he did confront or do a face to face with Prince Nana, and he did kind of insinuate that he could be a better manager to Swerve Strickland than Prince Nana could be, and suggested that he look for better representation with him. Um, I thought about it and I thought, okay, if this could possibly be a Hurt Business 2.0, would they be looking to have Swerve to be a part of that? Now, I know some people prefer Swerve to be solo, being among himself. They feel like with him and Prince Nana, they work, don't change it, just leave it the way it is. Um, but I feel like with him being in a setting where he could possibly be with Bobby Lashley or Sheldon Benjamin under the guise of MVP, um, this can also put his career in a different trajectory than it already has been. Um, Now, of course, again, kind of like going back to what I had mentioned before, you have two alpha males. That's Bobby and that's Swerve. And I don't know if that is going to work for too long. Because in the original Hurt Business, Bobby was the leader. Bobby was the co leader with MVP. And if he comes in as a leader again, that might, ruffle some feathers with Swerve. Or again, maybe the co-leader can be Swerve and MVP just stands as a manager. Who knows? I mean, it could go in all different type of ways. But um if I'm thinking about those who are in AEW who could possibly be a part of Hurt Business, um, I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't, I mean, outside of Private Party, I don't know. I don't know who would fit in Hurt Business. Maybe Khan. I like Khan. I think Khan would fit.
I like that
Um,
idea.
I like Khan. He just like popped up in my head. So, if I just say let MVP kind of work this one out. I feel like if there's too many hands involved rebuilding a Hurt Business, it won't look right. It worked for them in WWE. MVP was kind of like the brainchild behind it. Um, I feel like he should continue to be the one that builds it up if that is something what they're leading into. But yeah, I would possibly like to see Khan as a part of Hurt Business 2.0. I think he will look good in the group.
I like that idea. Um, there's a lot of young people that don't get a lot of TV time too. Lee Johnson, right? He's on ROH a little bit.
Right,
Lee Johnson, I think it could help, create something for him. I think Lee Johnson's a superb in-ring wrestler. He hasn't built much of a character. How about this one for you though? And it stays with the storyline of Swerve. And this, of course, health prohibited, right? Because we haven't seen him on TV for a little bit. Keith Lee.
right.
Keith Lee in the Hurt Business would be interesting. Kind of, aligning with MVP, and a lot of the alignment is to kind of comes back to what Swerve dug himself a lot of holes, caused a lot of issues with a lot of people, like Hangman. We forgot he caused issues with Keith Lee, and they never really got to settle the score. They used to be tag
Right.
champs. And the idea of Keith Lee and Shelton Benjamin as a tag team, also, oh my god, that'd be crazy. But it's gonna be
Yeah.
interesting to see. I'm glad to see MVP back though. Like I just think he's a
I
guy
am
who
too.
is very talented. So, and I like your idea. Khan is a good one though. That's a talented
Khan is a
professional
good one.
wrestler.
And I definitely want to see more Mike back and forth between MVP and Prince Nana. Since Prince Nana has came in number one for managers and stuff, so I thought that kind of
Hmm.
like played on to, hey, you got number one, but I'm the one that has, I built up Omos, I managed Bobby, like
Yeah,
I have a resume in building stars, and
for
so
sure.
I would definitely like to see more of a uh back and forth between MVP and Prince Nana because we don't really get to see Nana on the mic too often, and he's good when he's on it. So I want to see
Yeah.
him fight for Swerve. I don't want him to just hand him off. I want him to fight for him.
Nah, I dig it. And I definitely like it. We got some comments in here too. The homie Soul saying Swerve, Bobby, and Shelton would be great trios champs. That's a powerful unit. That's a powerful unit. I mean, even
Yes.
Bobby Shelton and MVP, if MVP could still wrestle, I wouldn't mind seeing that as
Mm.
a trios.
I think if you play your cards right with a faction like this as well, all these names that you've said, a faction like this,
Hmm.
if you play your cards right, can last. It can start
Right.
off with these people, and then somebody takes out this person, and then this person joins. Do you know what I mean?
It should have never ended. Vince
Exactly, but
McMahon.
like, yeah, like if they could, like how the Judgment Day have done
Hmm.
it now, it started with Edge, Finn, and now you know what I
Yes.
mean. Now Damien's moved on, and it's like it could keep going. And like if you play your card, even the Bloodline, like what we were just talking about, like if you play your cards right with a good
Right.
faction, it can last for a while. A few people can get involved with it and have run-ins with it. And the trios just wasn't available in WWE, and that faction is set up beautifully for it. So like, I'd be silly not to see it, I think.
For sure. And then we got another
Yeah.
comment. I can definitely see MVP revive the Hurt Business. I would be interested if he brings Bobby Shelton, but would love if he recruits Powerhouse Hobbs because he thinks he
I
could be a good
forgot about
manager as well.
Hobbs.
Yeah, so also said Hobbs
I
would
forgot
be
about
good for
Hobbs.
sure. That man, Hobbs
Yeah.
is another talented brother who's just gotta give him a little bit of opportunity. But what you
Yeah.
guys see a lot of us talk about weekly on these episodes is our sponsor, and that is Next Level. If you go to nxconnect.me/Wrestling Republic, you'll find a website and one-stop shop for all of our content across all platforms linked in one place. I'm talking this YouTube channel. I'm talking to y'all on the Instagram. I'm talking to y'all on Twitch. And I'm talking to y'all on X, as well as our website. It's a great, easy platform to find everything Wrestling Republic. Also, the app, you go to the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. You'll find it there, download it, and then you can join our community as well as other wrestling communities. So ensure yourself to rock with NX Connect, Next Level, and rock with us at Wrestling Republic, man. All right, let's get to this next topic because we are staying in the realm of all elite wrestling, but it's a little game of speculation because our EVPs, Nicholas and Matthew Jackson, full names for y'all to know, took a picture with one Shane O'Mac. Here comes the money, who was also pictured with Tony Khan before, who also ran into Mercedes Moné, and he's just running into all of these AEW people. Well, we're starting to think, is he going to be all elite? Was this another sign for it? I don't know. I don't know if he's trolling. I'm not going to lie to you. After watching this documentary about Vince McMahon, I'm starting to think it is going to be a thing because that brother wants to be part of professional wrestling, and that brother feels extra slighted by his baby sister and brother-in-law. So I think we're going to see Shane O'Mac in All Elite Wrestling. But I'll ask you, Jordy, am I speculating correctly or am I full of BS?
I think you're definitely speculating correctly. Christ, I couldn't talk then. Yeah. I don't know if we'll get the "here comes the money" moment because I don't know if that belongs to him or whether it belongs to WWE. But listen, I don't see why not. I'm exactly the same as you. I always knew Shane loved pro wrestling. It was clear you don't kind of do what he's done and put yourself in the spots that he's not if you don't have a love for it. But I think throughout that whole documentary, I think he came off quite well. I think a quite positive picture was painted of Shane, that he was just kind of always seeking his dad's approval, and he has a genuine love for this business. I think people are going to want to see him. Me being one of them, people who have watched the show know that I'm not massively watch AEW probably as much as I should. But listen, the topics that we're talking about now with the Hurt Business, with the potential of Shane O'Mac there, I know how good All In was this year. I feel like AEW are on a bit of a streak of momentum. And people can post pictures of empty stadiums and stuff all they want, but like that, you get a feel for it. It's obviously like you guys were in and amongst the internet wrestling community in the scene, and I just feel like compared to a few months ago, there's some momentum behind AEW at the minute, and I think the thing with Shane is one of them things that is probably like, it was going to leak anyway, or it's leaked anyway. Let's just lean into it. Let's just post fit photos with everyone. It'll still get a huge pop if and when it happens and he turns up at a show. And not only that, he knows about the business. Somebody who's been in and around WWE at the heart of it throughout one of its most successful eras in the Attitude Era. That's not somebody that you're going to want to turn away if they come knocking at your door and say, "Hi, can I help?" You will open that door and say, "Yes, of course you can." Or even if Tony's approached him, who knows how it's gone down. But I'd love to see him be a part of something that gets a good amount of TV time, that gets a good amount of kind of recognition and broadcasting time, and not have the almost shadow hanging over him that is within his family business. And it's like, I feel like he was always didn't want to put a foot wrong because of his dad and all this kind of stuff. And I just feel like he'll be a bit more free over there and just be like one of the team. And I'd love that for him. I feel like he would be happy. I feel like he would benefit from it. So yeah, who knows if it's because he's got a bee in his bonnet about Stephanie, that's fine as well. Because we're fans, we're the neutrals in this. And if products are just seem to be getting better and better on both sides of the coin. So I'm all for it.
My bad. I muted myself.
It wasn't me, I promise. I'm not fighting back.
It wasn't him. It's funny. Yeah, no, man. It's one of those things where I know a lot of people are kind of afraid of the idea of him going there. Just because it's a McMahon, right? And it's AEW. They are literally the alternative. And it's like, why would you lean towards going to what you're going against? But like you said, knowledge, that much knowledge in the business, working during an era of wrestling where your entire roster was watching as children, right?
Not just that as well, like the way
you're
that
older.
yeah, exactly. I mean, but just the way that even all of the people in and around it on that documentary spoke about the way Stephanie is, and it's like the kind of the McMahon way, and it being kind of playing hardball. And Shane, you can't be the nice guy that you are and be in the McMahon chair and be the heir to the throne because you're too nice and and people will take advantage of that. And he was almost portrayed as the alternative throughout that documentary. Yeah. So it doesn't actually surprise me that it's like, okay, yeah, well, then go to the alternative brand and he might flourish. Like, not that he hasn't already, obviously, but you know,
right?
I've got time for it. I think it'll be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Go ahead, Megan. What are you gonna say?
Oh yeah, no, I was gonna say, you could tell Shane has a lot of good ideas because the one thing that kept floating in my mind was him wanting to invest and purchase the UFC. And to watch that slip between his fingers because his dad didn't feel like it was a good idea. And even the little ball busting quote that Vince kind of like threw out there in the documentary. No spoilers, but it's been a couple of days, so y'all should have watched it by now.
Oh yeah.
Where he pretty much just said that Shane didn't have the money. So it's like it doesn't really matter what you thought. You did not have the funds to do it, son. I did. So therefore, you know,
think about it like this too. Both of them, him and Tony, they're not that much different.
No, they come from sons of billionaires. They've been woven in the sports. Tony football and now wrestling. Shane is a wrestler. People will look at them as nepo children. You know, they come up with money. And, you know, do I feel like there will be a little slightness when it comes down to Shane wanting to get back at, like Jordy mentioned, his sister and his brother-in-law after feeling like he's kind of been pushed out of the family business because there's only think about it. There's no current McMahon helping to run WWE. A family business, not one. And Shane more than likely feel like he has been pushed out of the family business. And helping AEW bill to actually match or probably surpass WWE at some point, I think will be Shane's I got you moment. And to see him in that picture with who I like to call Rod and Todd Flander kind of gave me the impression that he is
Roddy Todd Flander is really good, yo.
That is who they remind me of. I swear.
Oh my God,
But
yo, that is freaking funny.
no, that's my name for them. I love them, but that's who they remind me of. But I think that was Shane's way in saying, I'm here. Y'all gonna see a lot more of me. I'm here with the founder and the owner,
Mhm.
and now with the EVPs. So just know the rumors that you heard is true.
I just had a
That's how I
thought
take
then.
it.
A way to
So
get him
quick
brought
one, then
in.
we gotta get to the last
Yeah,
topic.
yeah. I'll fire really quickly. So Tony got injured by the Young Bucks, right? And he was in the whole neck brace thing. What if Tony cuts a promo and comes back and says, like, everybody says that I'm too easygoing. Turns out what I need, what you're saying is I need a McMahon, and then Shane O'Mac, and then he's back. He's the Tony's guy, so he'll go after the Young Bucks and stuff like that.
I
I
would
don't know.
love that.
Yeah, I'd
That'd
like
be
that.
I thought
that's a
the
good
whole
twist on
thing
it.
with John Moxley was going to kind of lead into Shane.
It still might. We're still very early in it, so we'll have to wait and see. But I this has been a great topic, and I did pick these topics today, so y'all know. Let's get to the last topic though, because it is Friday, and it is Friday night SmackDown. They haven't announced a few things tonight. Solo Sikoa will be in attendance, and we have three premier matches happening tonight. Mia Yim Michin versus Piper Niven. As this storyline goes, we're gonna get that trash can match eventually. That should be fun. We also have Game 6, Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes. That should be fun because this series has been crazy. And a number one contenders match for the women's championship at Bad Blood going against Nia Jax. We got Miss Bailey versus Feel the Glow Naomi. I'm going to ask you guys each, give me your winners for Game 6, and then who do you think is going to advance to go against Naomi? I'll go against Nia Jax for the title match at Bad Blood. Do you think it's going to be Bailey or Naomi? I'm gonna start it off with you first, Megan.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. That little fight scene last week between Andrade and Carmelo looked a little too real to me. It looked a real authentic, and a lot of people agreed when I said it last week. So I don't know. I'm leaning into Andrade. That's who I would want to win. Do I feel like he's going to? Probably not, because he had won the last match. So it more than likely would be Carmelo. But I am trying to figure out exactly how what's the end goal between these two. Um, and as in for Naomi and Bailey, it should be Naomi. Naomi only had one title shot since she has been back from TNA. She hasn't held a singles title. It's been a couple of years. The last title she held was the tag team title with Mercedes. We know that was about 2 years ago, a little longer. Yeah, about 2 years ago. Um, I think this is Naomi's time. Bailey just had the title. Love Bailey down, but it's time that you take a step back and let Naomi have her moment. So I'm going for Andrade and Naomi.
I like it. I like it. We got some comments who are also giving picks. Our dog Drizzy saying Mello for the win, and Naomi is getting her title
See,
shot.
Drizzy, me and Drizzy
He,
right here.
he's also saying, I love you, my tribal chief, Solo Sikoa. My bad.
You got them dreadlocks underneath that cap, bro. You're not fooling any of us.
If only I could grow hair. Um, number one Superfly. I love this comment. I'm thinking Naomi will use the most devastating move in all of professional wrestling, the surprise roll up to win in order to face Bad
There ain't
Blood.
no
Yes.
move better.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited for Bailey and Naomi tonight, though. I think that's going to be a fun match. Bailey is a wrestling general, right? She knows how to make it. Oh gosh, my girl shot. Jeez Louise, man. All right, Drizzy. That's crazy. But I do think Naomi's gonna win. I think Naomi and Nia Jax is a fun match. And
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna agree. I think we're gonna get Carmelo Hayes winning today. Just Jordy in the bank. Take us
Mm.
home, man. What are your predictions for the night?
Let's go home. Yeah, I wish I could say something different. I hope and I predict that it's going to go exactly that way. Um, I think it's game 6, and it's going to go all the way. It's going to go to game 7, 3 each, and I think Melo will come out of this feud on top. As good as as good as it's been for Andrade, I think it's more important that Melo does eventually come out on top of this feud with him. It kind of being his first big feud on the main roster. Naomi Bailey, I hope Naomi gets this title shot. Bad Blood, is this the moment where Tiffy cashes in? This is the thing that's in my head, and this is no disrespect at all to Nia or whoever she faces, whether it be Bailey, whether it be Naomi. The rest of the matches on that Bad Blood card are like these feuds have been going for a good while. They're almost blood feuds, like Damian, Finn, Rhea, Liv, Drew, and CM Punk, and obviously the Bloodline tag match. It's not. Well, it is very much bad blood between the two, and then you have the added little thing between Roman and Cody, that being bad blood as well. With Nia, I mean, I guess you could kind of spin it with Bailey, but is this, rather than it being a culmination of bad blood, is this for Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton the beginning of their bad blood? I don't know. Or it could be something where, say Naomi goes through and then Tiffy goes to cash in. But remember, when she went to cash in last time, it was actually to help Nia. So I don't know, Bailey could come out and try and help and then end up screwing Naomi's title chance over, and then we get a heel turn from Naomi or something. I don't know, but I think what's important, like you guys have said very much, is that it's Melo and Naomi that go through and go over tonight.
There is someone that Nia Jax does have bad blood with that could pop up though. Charlotte, remember they had a little shoot fight before.
Yeah.
They've
When
had bad blood with each
she
other.
must be coming back soon, man. I feel like the Charlotte, you know, when it kind of Charlotte's gone quite quiet on socials. I feel she was giving us a lot of injury updates at one point, a lot of kind of on her story, a lot of her in physio, and it's gone doof. And that tends to be, it's like that they must be training again. They're back in the performance center.
She is an X-Men, I believe. Like I think she's got some sort of like gene pool that's different, because recovery that quickly from a severe knee injury like that, and being able to
Right.
get back into like rehab and in the gym doing squats and stuff like that, remarkable. We know that she's a premier athlete, so I'm excited to see the queen come back, but we'll see if it's that bad blood. But yeah, that's all that we have for today, y'all. Like I said, thank you guys for first and foremost being on the show with me, and thank you to those commenting and watching on all platforms. We appreciate y'all. We will be back same time tomorrow to review SmackDown, and then we will be back the same day, the day after that. We're here every single day, so keep rocking with us, and we'll catch y'all on the flip side. Deuces, ooses.